students coming out from the engineering colleges, a large number of them either don't end up getting a proper employment or they settle with low wages. Why it is happening?
Jaunpur is known as Siraj of East. Do you have any idea about this?
Okay, what is CAPEX? CAPEX.
Also tell me, the Attorney General of our country is the highest law officer of Union government, right? And it is generally said that he holds office at the pleasure of the President. Can you please tell me this doctrine of pleasure of the President, is it independent right of the President? I mean, can it be exercised independent of any other advice? Does it come under discretionary function of the President?
As a student of geography, tell us one thing, that is India having some kind of geographical advantage in becoming back office of the world?
May I come in?
Yes, come in. Please, may be seated.
Thank you, sir.
Please give a brief introduction about yourself.
Sir, I'm Ariba Sagir. Though I was born in Lucknow, but I have been raised in Delhi. And thereafter, I completed my schooling from Delhi and completed my graduation in engineering in computer science. And then I was into website developing, website design and development. And then I qualified UPPCS, and currently I'm serving as a state tax officer in the government of Uttar Pradesh.
Since when you have been working there?
Sir, 2021, March 2021.
Almost 3 years.
Yes.
Yeah, so how are you finding your job there?
So it's good.
It's good.
It's good.
You're liking
yes.
it?
Yes.
Wonderful. Ariba, tell me, you have passed out from Galgotia Institute.
Yes.
Talking about the private engineering colleges in our country, why our private engineering colleges are not at par with the IITs?
Sir, I think there are a couple of reasons. First, sir, commercialization of education is one thing. And secondly, sir, the research environment is not at par with IITs. And third, I think, sir, the IITs are very less in number. So if that number is increased, and then private institutions can also be at par with them.
So another intriguing feature which we have been noticing is that students coming out from the engineering colleges, a large number of them either don't end up getting a proper employment or they settle with low wages. Why it is happening?
Sir, I think the problem flows from the first thing only, because the research environment is not that much, and I think there is a skill gap. There is a skill gap between what the industry requires today and what our institutions are offering. So that is one thing. Second, sir, the kind of technology industry in which direction it is going. For example, there is AI. AI is in the trending news, is the trending thing. Secondly, sir, I think the kind of incentives, the kind of funding which is required.
Any disconnect between academia and industry?
So academia and industry connect, that is missing. So they are not getting that much gainful employment.
Okay, you are working as a tax officer. Tell me how the transfer of funds from the center to the states is decided?
Sir, in our department, sir.
Central government, union government. Have you heard about the Finance Commission?
Yes, sir.
Which Finance Commission has been constituted recently?
So it is the 16th Finance Commission.
Okay. What is the role of how this Finance Commission distributes funds to the states?
So it comes up with a percentage. For example, the 15th Finance Commission allotted 41% to the states, and it is the 41% is out of the divisible tax pool. The cesses are not divided as such.
There is a debate going on in the country, particularly coming from the southern states, that the system of devolution of taxes to states is not equitable. The states which are non-performing, so-called Bimaru states, they end up getting much more larger share than they deserve at the cost of southern states which are performing states. What is your opinion on this?
Sir, I think it can be looked into both ways. Firstly, the southern states say that, for example, if we talk about Karnataka, then it is getting only 25 paise for every rupee it is spending, and Bihar is getting 7 rupees
Exactly.
for 1 rupee it is spending. So, sir, because there is an inherent problem here. That is the imbalanced regional development is there. So, this is one thing. So definitely, if we have to look at the entire picture, so the states have to be funded in that way. But at the same time, if we see the southern states, then they are getting a fair share also. And we have states like Maharashtra, which is contributing well to the tax pool. But so it's not just a north-south divide problem, but it's developed states are there, and some states are underdeveloped. So it is basically a large problem, not just a north-south problem.
Okay. Coming to your UP tax collection, I think it is going to zoom 40% to rupees 2.62 trillion by 23-24, isn't it?
So UP,
Apart from what it receives from the central government, its own tax collection, comprising of SGST, VAT, excise, all taken together, including stamp and all. So my question is, this enormous tax collection in the UP, how does it impact your state's socio-economic landscape?
Sir, taxes are the fundamental of every scheme which is being run in the state. For example, they are the largest. For example, there was a recent study by RBI which talked of the state finances. So GST and taxes they form the primary source of income for any state. So those funds, those revenues generated can be redirected to the schemes, social welfare schemes, and industrial impetus can be given in that way. For
Could
example,
you give any concrete example?
So for example,
simply explained it.
yes, sir. So for example, if we divide UP into 5 regions, then the central UP can be promoted in the way of greater industrialization based on capital intensive industries. So the revenue can be directed here. In the Bundelkhand region, footloose industries can be given a good role. In the Purvanchal side, in the eastern UP, their labor intensive industries can be given a push. So that way revenues can be redirected and distributed so that there is overall a progressive output.
Thank you very much.
Ariba, what is the meaning of your name?
So it's an Arabic word, it means intelligent.
Intelligent. Okay, Ariba. Ariba, like in 2019, I do remember Shaheen Bagh was in news. Why?
So it was in news because of the anti-CAA protests. So that was the main center where all the protesters had gathered, and that is why it was in news.
So ultimately, what happened to CAA? Whether it has been dropped?
No, sir. The government has recently notified the rules. So that is going to be implemented.
Going to implement.
Yes.
So I think there will be smooth implementation of this CAA.
Yes, sir. Hopefully.
Hopefully. Do you have any apprehension regarding it? Do you have any apprehension regarding its implementation?
No, sir. Sir, I think it is a very fair. It is a clear law, and government has cleared its intent very well, and it has nothing to do with the kind of misinformation which is being spread. So I think it will take a smooth turn.
Okay. Ariba, Jaunpur is known as Siraj of East. Do you have any idea about this?
Yes, sir. Sir, there was a very famous dynasty, Sharki dynasty, which ruled there, and a lot of poets were patronized there. And the cuisine, everything, the place had developed its own local culture. So that is why it had that an analogy was drawn between the Shiraz, which is a city in Iran, to the city of Jaunpur.
Okay. Ariba, you also developed airline reservation system. What was that?
Sir, it was basically focused on decreasing. The idea was already we have an airline reservation system, but it was an attempt at reducing the loading time of which is there on the pages. Like we switch web pages. So the idea was to decrease the loading time and increase the efficiency. So we took a database, a local database we created, and that we developed on the language PHP.
Okay, you are also interested in artificial intelligence.
Yes.
So artificial intelligence will also help in this reservation, airlines reservation.
Yes, sir.
How?
So based on, for example, all the reservation, the cancellation can be automated without the need of any person as such. So that is one thing. Secondly, in cyber security, because airlines form a part of the critical infrastructure of the country, and it is very important with respect to the national security. So we can have a predictive analysis tool built in the airline reservation system that can predict if there is any kind of cyber attack on the sensitive database of the system.
Recently, our Honorable Prime Minister was very much concerned with deep fake. What is this deep fake?
Sir, deep fake is one of the great concerns which is today in India and all over the world also. Basically, it mimics the videos and the text. They mimic the human-like content so much so that it is thought to be true, and that is of great concern. One, because it can be used by people, non-state actors, to fuel riots and everything. So these things are of great concern because they are fake. They are not in the reality, and this is.
Do we have any act to stop it or control it?
No, sir, not as such. It is usually dealt with IT rules, IT Act 2000. But as such, the naming, the particular name, deep fake, that is not there. And we are also moving towards deliberating on Digital India Act. So that will definitely include AI regulation and deep fake.
Last question from my side, that was regarding hijab. So wearing of hijab in schools, what is your opinion about this?
I completely align with the Supreme Court's ruling that it forms a part of the non-essential component of religion. So it cannot be mandated, and schools should have a proper uniform, and that will bring in more equality, and that will prevent any kind of discrimination. So that is definitely in the interest of the community.
Okay, thank you, Ariba.
Thank you, sir.
Ariba, World Bank and IMF for the first time are having officials of Indian origin, persons of Indian origin, both the institutions together. Can you name them?
So World Bank is being headed by Ajay Banga, and IMF.
There is a woman.
IMF. So I'm not able to recall at the moment. I will definitely.
Okay. Do you remember any woman who is finance minister of any state?
Finance minister of
any state government.
State government.
For example, Delhi government.
Yes, sir. It just skipped out of my mind. Yes, sir. Miss Atishi is the finance minister.
Okay. So
Delhi.
what kind of budget she presented?
Yes, sir.
What kind of budget she presented recently?
Sir, she presented, and the highlight of the Delhi budget was they came up with a scheme for women, wherein the women will be getting 1,000 rupees as an allowance if they are not covered under any scheme as such. So that was women was the main theme, and they also showed that the budget is in surplus. They have the budget is in surplus, so social welfare schemes will be continued. For example, the Delhi Jal Board, they will.
Okay, tell me, what is the total size of budget? What is the total expenditure proposed? What part of that is revenue expenditure? What part is capital expenditure?
I don't remember the exact figure, but it is something around 47,000 crore.
Okay. That's total?
Yes, sir.
What part of that is revenue expenditure?
Sir, I don't remember the breakup.
Okay, what is capex? Capex.
Yes, sir. So it is the capital expenditure, that the amount of the government spends on.
So why capex is emphasized or highlighted? Why it is important?
So because infrastructure, if it is the infrastructure is the foundation of any economy, and particularly a developing economy like India, wherein if we have more roads, more ease of, it will translate into more ease of doing business. It will translate into revenue generation, income generation, and
Fine.
that will.
Fine. I just turned of geography. How do you define an equinox and how it is different from solstice?
So equinox is basically when the days and nights are equal, and solstice is when, for example, solstice happens twice a year, in March and in September, when the days when the
Solstice in March
so March 23.
or equinox? Solstice in June and December.
Okay, so I just got confused with it. It happens in June when the day is the longest and the northern hemisphere remains in sunlight for 6 months. And in the winter solstice that happens in December, the night, the Antarctica region, the southern hemisphere remains in the dark for the 6 months. So
Okay.
days become shorter and nights become longer.
Okay. And can you name the 6 different ritus which are considered as by Indian geographical thinkers? See, Westerns have given 3 seasons, isn't it? Arabian thinkers have given us 3 mausams. Indian thinkers have given us 6 ritus.
Okay.
Okay, 3 mausams. Can you name 3 mausams?
Sir, I have no idea. I will read about it.
Okay.
So Ritu, like Varsha Ritu and all these.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Sir, Grishma Ritu
Yeah.
and
Varsha Ritu,
Varsha Ritu and
Sharad Ritu,
yes, sir.
kind of that.
Yes, sir. So I'll read about it, sir.
Okay. My final question. Recently, World Trade Organization had its ministerial meeting. Which issues were discussed and what has been the fruitful outcome?
So for India, it was not a very good meeting because our issues, primarily public stock holding and fisheries, they were staved off, and but there was so these are the 2 main issues, that is the public stock holding and fisheries. They are on the government's list, but the developed countries have built such an alliance which kinds of is bringing the non-trade issues into the discussions. For example, labor is being discussed there and sustainability is being discussed there. So for India, it was not a good thing because our proposals have not been given a hearing, and
So
as far as
should we quit?
no, sir, quitting is not there. Quitting will not be a good option. But I think a greater alliance, greater build-up of consensus between other countries, so that our proposal is accepted.
Okay. Thank you, Ariba.
Ms. Ariba, since you are working with Uttar Pradesh government, can you please tell me what is the maximum duration of one leave given to the employees, that is called child care leave, CCL?
So it's 730 days.
730 days in total, and all the time is completely paid, or is there any relaxation or reduction in that?
No, sir, it's completely paid.
And can a male single parent also avail of this leave?
No, sir.
It is not available to male.
No, sir. It's for.
Are you sure about
Yes,
this?
sir.
Go and check it once again. Also, tell me, what is the emergency helpline number for a woman in distress in Uttar Pradesh?
So it's 1090.
And what about the emergency number for everybody? Emergency helpline, not exclusive to the women only.
So 112.
112. Also, can you please explain the mechanism? I mean, this number 1090 is applicable for all the Uttar Pradesh. But if you are in Lucknow and you are dialing the number from Lucknow, you will get help from Lucknow only. I mean, how this? I'm intrigued. How this number functions, throughout the geographical boundary of Uttar Pradesh. But there is only a single number and response comes from the nearby only. How it is, the algorithm is planned?
So basically, the telecom operators, the towers are divided in that way that whatever call is being made, the data packets will be received at one particular tower only. So I'm not sure of it. I'm just making a guess.
I'm
sir.
also not aware about this. I just wanted to know if you have any clue about this. Okay, no issues. Let's move to some other issues. The election commission consists of 3 members, including 2 election commissioners and 1 chief election commissioner. 2 posts are vacant now.
Yes.
So the 2 members will be now appointed. Can you please tell me how the process is put into action for the appointment of election commissioners?
So there will be a search committee, and the search committee will suggest which will shortlist 5 names, and then there will be a selection committee which will comprise of the Prime Minister, the leader of opposition, and a nominated minister by Prime Minister.
The leader of opposition from Rajya Sabha?
From Lok Sabha. Sir.
From Lok Sabha, okay. And then out of 5 names proposed, 1 will be selected.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Also tell me, the Attorney General of our country is the highest law officer of Union government, right?
Yes.
And it is generally said that he holds office at the pleasure of the President. Can you please tell me this doctrine of pleasure of the President? Is it independent right of the President? I mean, can it be exercised independent of any other advice? Does it come under discretionary function of the President?
No,
the pleasure of the President?
No, sir. It doesn't come under the discretionary powers. It is basically decided by the Council of Ministers, and they advise the President the name of the Attorney General, and the President appoints on the basis of that advice.
My last question to you. Every policing system in our country is now in the dire need of going for certain kind of reforms. And one of the dimensions of reform is modernization of the police services, right? In the context of Uttar Pradesh, can you please highlight some priority areas of police modernization?
Sir, first, there are a couple of commissions which have come in this regard. For example, there was a Ribeiro Commission. There was a Padmanabhiya Commission. They have suggested that modernization of police force can primarily be done when there is a check on the transfers and appointments. That is one thing. A body can be constituted in that way, wherein the transfers and appointments can only happen in a very transparent manner. So one thing is there.
So you are broadly talking about police reforms. I am more interested. My question is more focused on how the police can be made modern as per the expectation of the common masses.
So greater training is required. More gender sensitivity, sensitization, and they can develop a connect with the people by interacting with them. We can have awareness camps where the people can talk freely to them, and they can be more sensitized towards the people.
Okay, thank you.
Ariba, from your DAF, it seems that you got offer from Infosys and Cognizant, but still you went ahead with some kind of freelance job as a web designer, right? So why you not joined such prestigious companies?
Sir, the primary idea was, sir, I wanted to use my technical skills for social purposes.
Mm-hmm.
So during my entire work profile as a freelance also, I particularly chose those works where I was able to contribute in any for the social problems. I was able to address them in any sense. So these companies are purely technical, and I wanted to, because there was a broader purpose in my life to do something for the society, and so it was a very conscious decision.
Right. As a student of geography, tell us one thing, that is India having some kind of geographical advantage in becoming back office of the world? Or India is doing so well in IT and all kind of services. Is there any special geographical advantage for India apart from other things, location wise? Or
so we have a demographic dividend. We have the median age is 29, and we are having the largest workforce in the country.
That is fine. Apart from demographic dividend, location wise, our positioning
in
the globe.
Yes, sir. We have a very strategic position in the Indian Ocean region, wherein the trade is facilitated. For example, our closeness, our proximity to Malacca Strait, to the Arabian Sea, to the Gulf of Red
Anything
Sea.
to do with the time difference with the US and our major clients?
So, yes, it can be thought in that way also.
Right.
Yes, sir.
As a student of computer science, tell us what this blockchain technology is.
So blockchains are basically distributed database ledger that contains information in the form of blocks, and there is a unique digital identifier of every block. So there is greater record keeping, transparency, and more security can be ensured because those blocks have a unique digital identifier, and the information is stored by connecting them in the form of chains. So record keeping is there, more authenticity is there.
So how this is used in modern days cryptocurrencies?
So cryptocurrency is basically an application of blockchain, and they are used for trading. For example, if we talk about the Bitcoin, the prices of Bitcoin is rising. So if the total amount of that is traded, for example, a particular value is indexed to it, so it can be traded like we do in the stock marketing.
Right. By the way, why this prices of Bitcoin are rising in recent few
So
days?
there are a couple of reasons. First, primarily because of the greater allocation in the of the retail, the allocation of the Bitcoins in the retail sector. There is more retail participation. Secondly, sir, Bitcoin halving event is coming up.
Right.
So the transactions for the rewards for the transactions are cut, and therefore the prices of Bitcoins shoot. So that is second thing. And third is, sir, increased spot Bitcoin ETFs, exchange traded funds.
Right. Fine. As a government tax officer, can you name top 3 districts of UP in terms of state GDP?
So first is Ghaziabad, Lucknow, Varanasi. These are the highest.
Where is Noida? Gautam Buddha Nagar.
So
The
yes,
biggest
sir,
in
actually
terms
I
of
was
GDP.
yes, sir.
Yeah.
I just missed
And
it.
bottommost?
Bottommost are Shravasti, Sonbhadra, and Bhadoi.
Chitrakoot, Mahoba.
They are also there, sir. There are
Right. My last question to you is that you love Urdu poetry. In context of Urdu poetry, who is Akhtar Pia? He has some connection with Lucknow. You are also connected with it.
Sir, I have to read about it.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Okay, Ariba, thank you very much. Your interview is over. You may go now.
Yes. Thank you, sir. Sir.
Come in. Sit down, Ariba.
Yes.
When is your interview?
Sir, 27th.
27th. And your attempt? Which attempt is
So
this?
it's 5th.
5th. And first interview.
Yes.
So how was your experience?
So it was good.
Any improvement you think is required?
Yes, sir. So whatever questions were asked, I think better answers.
You see, this is a personality test, isn't it? It's not a quiz competition or a general knowledge competition, isn't it? When a candidate is called before the board, various traits of the personality of the concerned candidate is viewed by the board while asking questions. So, the way you answer questions, various aspects of your personality will come out.
Yes.
Will clear. What is expected of you is to maintain a high degree of personal integrity and the honesty of purpose in all your answers. Your answers have to be very, very balanced, very clear and logical, isn't it? Then you should have the ability to critically assimilate views and points of views. And then your depth of interest and depth of knowledge and your intellectual qualities. These are basically things based on which your interview or your personality will be judged. You are a good candidate, but at times what happens, you get into the area of guesswork, and that is what is very killing.
Okay.
You don't know, doesn't matter, but speaking without knowing is very dangerous. So avoid anything which you don't know. Avoid anything which you don't know. Why I'm telling you? By way of example, on the child care leave, CCL, they're very emphatic, isn't it? And emphatically stating wrong things.
Okay.
That should not be there. That should 730 days, okay, it's good. But initial 1 year, that is 365 days, it is 100% payment. Remaining, it is 80% only.
Okay.
Isn't it?
I did not know.
You didn't know, that is which is why I am telling you. And this is available to male also, not only restricted to or confined to female. So this is palpably wrong answer number 1 you gave, and on being pointed out by the board member, you countered him also. No, sir, this is not that. This one answer will really impact your interview. So our advice to you is, wherever you are in a state of doubt and all, candidly admit, sir, I don't know. Doesn't matter. And not knowing and still speaking is very dangerous. That's the only thing you have to avoid. Well, if you are able to avoid this, then I think half the battle is won. Second thing is, try to understand intent of the question. We asked you question on solstice, and then you started explaining equinox, month-wise,
Okay.
isn't it? So be clear about, to know the intent of the question. Try to assimilate your thoughts for a second, collect your thoughts for a second, and then speak. Then you will be able to understand and analyze things. So these are 2-3 things which you have noticed.
Yes.
And then your tax officer, Noida should have been the
It
first
just came
district
out of
which
my mind.
skipped
Yes,
your
sir.
mind. But okay, that is all right. You said Ghaziabad and all that, and on being pointed out, you corrected also. But these 2 instances you could not correct. So that is what I am saying. What questions will you ask? Nobody can tell you. But you are already a member of the UP Administrative Service.
Yes.
So some questions will be revolving around that, particularly your tax collection, your issues with, because UP has been able to mop up a huge tax base, and so how this has been possible, how leakages have been plugged, how you have what do you call that, leakage is one important, and tax evasion, how tax evasion has been effectively handled. These 2 areas, what steps have been taken by the state government for the tax evasion and plugging the otherwise leakages.
Yes.
And then you are collecting tax on behalf of the state government. Then the issues like GST, maybe that why certain items are outside, have been kept outside the ambit of GST and all that. What are your personal views on that? Well, if your electricity or petroleum products are brought within the ambit,
Yes.
what is going to be the implications of that? As a tax officer, you have to understand that. Somebody will be asking you about the prevailing corruptions and all in the tax department and all that, why it is there, what have you done in your personal capacity to ensure transparency in your working and all. And the third thing is the kind of problem which women officer faces at the workplace. So whether you have faced any problem while working as a women officer, if yes, then what are the problems? If no, then okay, you may be an exception. But generally, what women officers, what type of problems? Then different laws. What are the guarantees available to you? What are the administrative mechanism for the redressal of your grievances and all that? Internal committees and all. So those areas you should be very thorough about. But only suggestion from our side: no conjectures, no surmises, no guesswork. If you are able to avoid that, you will do well in your interview. All the best from our side. If you have any specific question to ask,
No, sir.
all the best.
Thank you so much.
And just before you leave, the way you enter, it's a very sheepish entry. You have to enter like an enthusiast. You came just like that, innocuously came, you sat here. You should be coming, greeting everybody energetically, and then stand there, then thanking the board member. that you make sure that when you entry is smart.
Yes.
It should be a smart entry. The first impression is the last impression. Okay.
Okay.
All the best.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, sir.